Let us not forget everything that happens is by the will of Allah. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or do the unthinkable, but to stand together as one. To Sunnah followers streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnah followers.
And by the way, what do you get the piercing at? Let's talk about it.
Wait a minute. Time for the Ask Sister Layla live show. Lines are now open. 862-370-2838.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome everybody to the Call In and Ask Sister Layla live show. Alhamdulillah. And do we have a show in store for you today? Alhamdulillah, today we're going to be discussing the topic that you all have asked for, the dangers of following Islamic social media influencers. And alhamdulillah, we have two great guests to join us here today. We have Dr. Ibrahim Dremali and Brother Muhammad Ziedeh. Alhamdulillah, both of them are here to grace us with their knowledge of this topic. And I want everyone listening to me to remember, we talked about this. We talked about how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned that the day would come in which this nation would deviate away from the true Islam and instead adopt a way opposite of what he came with and with what his companions practiced. And he said the leaders amongst them will issue fatwa that goes against what Allah says and that goes against what he came with. And the people will adapt the views of their scholars over the companions. And they will have a lot to say about what's happening in the world, but they won't have no knowledge or understanding of anything. Subhanallah. Tonight, we're going to discuss this because in my view, I view those people as being the social media influencers of today. I view those people as being the Ruwaybida, who the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned about. And we're going to get this show kicked off and started off with Dr. Ibrahim Dremali, because since I've been mentioning that hadith for the past 2 years, I hear a lot of other brothers. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid talks about it a lot. Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee mentions that hadith a lot, and other people. But now we have Dr. Ibrahim Dremali, who is our resident scholar here at Sunnah Followers. He's going to break down the meaning of that hadith. So, Dr. Ibrahim Dremali, can you please speak about the hadith regarding the Ruwaybida?
Bismillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, this hadith is very, very dangerous hadith. In fact, this hadith, one of the signs of the day of judgment. A long hadith, but I think the art of the hadith. A lot of scholars and scholars and scholars. And then in the end of the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say, الرويبضة. People actually speak about halal and become like truly is haram. The haram, they make it halal. In fact, right now, in our present time, in Saudi Arabia, was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam born, and the message of the Islam came in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, used to be the best country, Islamic country, is Saudi Arabia. And after that, Egypt. After that, Egypt, the great country. The knowledge we have it, actually. The knowledge we have it. Number one, Egypt, and also Saudi Arabia, the great ulama. Now, Ar-Ruwaybida. What is Ar-Ruwaybida? الرجل التافه, the silly man with no knowledge, but beautiful voice, beautiful talk, excellent talk, but he speaks with no knowledge. That is one of the signs of the judgment. Now, for example, in Saudi Arabia, the ulama, by the way, the greatest ulama in the prison, and also in Egypt, the greatest ulama is in the prison, who they left Egypt, different countries, Qatar, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. Not all the country actually adopted the people following the Quran with Sunnah. So one of the signs of the judgment now, for example, in the United States of America, my dear brothers, in the United States of America, how many scholars, number one, go back, how many people memorize in the Quran, the beautiful voice of the Quran? Thousands. Thousands of people, male and females, children, babies, and adults memorize the Quran. But among those who memorize the Quran, how many of them understand the meaning of La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, or Ashhad an la ilaha illallah, Ashhada? What is the meaning of al-bala, al-bara? What follow the Quran and the Sunnah? Very, very rare. In America is more, of course, but excellent talk and excellent talk. In fact, Brother Muhammad Ziedeh, when attending a lecture like a month ago, and also last week with Sister Layla, many ideas around, many kids, they share Google and share Siri, nothing else. And they give fatwa and fatwa and fatwa. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, please give me attention to this hadith. Man afta بغير علم فقد كفر. Whoever gives fatwa without knowledge. The knowledge from whom? The knowledge, Quran, and the Sunnah of Rasulullah and the Salaf, the Sahaba and Tabi'een. Not my way or the highway. Not I think واحد اثنين ثلاثة 1 2 and 3. In fact, in my masjid, when I went to the masjid, just beginner of the masjid, just a new, more than one and a half years in the masjid, a lot of people, when I speak about Aqidah, many people come to me, their opinion, but always I bring Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And these are proofs. Oh, but that Sheikh so and so and so and so. That's scary. In fact, Brother Muhammad actually talked about how those kids using the phone. In fact, they make magic with the phone. And Brother Muhammad can tell you how many people that arrested and make a family and killed their own family because of that cell phone. Of course, I'm talking Muslims also. That here in this state, I just came to Pennsylvania. One kid killed his father, and they are Muslims because of the phone, cell phone. So, Brother Layla and Brother Muhammad.
Yes, alhamdulillah, subhanallah. These social media influencers, they go out and create YouTube channels, and they don't have no knowledge or understanding of the religion of Islam. They haven't studied it from the people of knowledge correctly, and but they make the channels, get the subscribers, and they just issue Islamic verdicts and speak about Islam, and they have a great impact on the youth of this nation. Brother Muhammad, as a counselor, I am pretty sure that you've encountered many Muslim youth who succumb to these YouTube presenters and influencers. Can you share with us the impact that you've seen that they have on the youth of our nation?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So I've talked about this last couple of weeks in great details with non-Muslim schools, non-Islamic schools, because they're having the same problem with social influencers, not Islamically speaking, but social influencers, the new trends that are happening on TikTok, the new things that they want to get the likes, they want to get the hits, the views, they want to get paid for their accounts. So it's not just our problem. that we're having. It's not just a Muslim problem. It's a world problem. It's a generation problem. But one of the things I can really say in regards to the Islamic issues that we're having right here with these influencers, these imam influencers, sheikh influencers, or whoever they might be, I don't think they start out with these intentions. A lot of them don't start out with having these intentions of deceiving the Muslim ummah. I hope, inshallah, that's my hope, is that they're not really starting and doing these to with the intentions of doing this. I think what ends up happening is the fame gets to their head, right? And a lot of times when I start, because I do watch these guys, I watch Sheikh Uthman, I watch Omar Suleiman, I watch Mufti Ming, I watch all these guys, and because I'm learning too. I'm a 40-year-old guy, but I'm still learning my deen. I'm always learning something new, especially when I meet Sheikh Dremali, and he teaches me every day something different, mashallah. Like the guy's on point. And so and this is what I mean when I say like the social influencers, right? We don't have to take what they say or what they say all the time. We have brothers and sisters that are within our grasp, that are educated, that are honest, that aren't looking for the hits and trying to get the views, like somebody like Sheikh Dremali, who will answer any questions that you have and tell you what's right and what's wrong immediately, because he knows, he fears Allah more than anything else, right? And that's one of the things I talked about in the school the other day was, we Muslims are built different, in which we kind of fear Allah more than we fear anything else. Mm-hmm. And I think what's happening right now is people of my age, 35 and older, you can't really get to us. We're kind of stuck in our ways. We kind of know we were there before the internet. We were there when the internet was starting, and we're here now where the internet's at, and we're kind of like understanding how the lies can happen, right? So we're kind of like we're a different breed. Our generation, my generation, 30, 35 and older, we've kind of lived through all this stuff, so we're able to grasp and understand. Okay, this is a filter. Okay, this is a lie. Okay, this is some type of BS this guy is spewing. I mean, I always go back to the example of the sheikh who says it's okay to drink alcohol as long as 3% or less, and you can drink that before you pray, but don't drink too much of it, because if you do pray, and it's amazing to me how many people would follow. And I'm talking about the younger generation that will go to, hey mama, hey papa, the sheikh said, look, I can show you this. And I'm going to tell you right now, Sheikh Google, when I do these counseling and therapy sessions and all this stuff with marriage couples, I'm always having the husband say, hey, look what it says. Our dean says this. Well, yeah, you Googled that, but let me go down the couple of pages and let me show you what the Quran says. Let me show you what the Hadith say. Let me show you what, because I think I don't know if all messages have it, but there's like a paper, a checklist for marriages, right? The men's roles, the woman's roles, all this kind of stuff that's already printed and done with. Like you can't change things, but you can always go online, subhanAllah, and find a sheikh that will tell you what you want to hear, right? And it's they do that for a reason, because they want you to share that clip, and more people will like that clip, more views. The more views, they get paid. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to money. But they know our generation won't fall for that trap. So they know, psychologically speaking, they know and they understand the 20 and under, 25s and unders are more easy to manipulate and to play around with than it is on our generation. All right, and there's a big reason for that, because I guess they could say we're the first generation going through all this stuff, and then the younger generation is still gullible, still malleable. We know we can't say it in the sense of how we as parents manipulate our kids to do right. We're not allowed to use that word manipulate, but we train our kids, we teach our kids, we educate our kids that this is right and this is wrong. They know now more than ever that the next generation, the 25s and unders, are glued onto their TVs and to their phones and to their tablets. So they know the greatest influence, how I can impact the greatest amount of people, is through the cell phone. So let me find some way to have all those people, millions and millions of people watching me. All right, and like I said before, I think those dua guys, the guys that go out there and make dua, the guys that go out there and make Sheikh help me out with this. The ones that do the da'wah guys. yeah, the Dawah guys, I really feel like I've been on Dawah trips with some guys before here and there. Down here in South Florida, I went to different Dawah tents, and I really feel like these guys are on point, that they want to do something, they want to help the world, they want to spread Islam, and they're really on point. But then you go watch these other guys who started out like that, but then they start to notice that their YouTubes went from 10 followers to 10,000 followers to 50,000 followers. And then they'll have their guy who is their social media expert that says, "Hey, Sheikh, you wanna become a bigger social media platform? We gotta have some type of issue that we gotta be more aggressive. We have to have that. We gotta have that thing that people are gonna watch." And then you'll hear a Sheikh say, "All right, guys, it's okay to date, and you don't have to tell the girl's father, but just keep it in a halal way." And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. I have a daughter, and fathers who have daughters, we don't play that game, right? Like that's not the way it works. There's a reason why Islam says the way we do things, right? And I get a lot of questions from the kids, especially the high school kids, will ask me these questions about, "Oh, Brother Muhammad, I saw this sheikh who said X, Y, and Z," and I'm like, "Listen, I'm not a sheikh, I'm not a scholar, but that sounds weird to me. So let's go find a sheikh or an imam that we know, that we trust, before we take what they're saying and kind of run with it," right? And that's what I tell everybody. Fine, watch YouTube videos. At least you're watching something Islamic speaking, that's great. And you're not really watching anything at all. But educate yourself. And I honestly, I always go back to read the Quran. Like, just do it. It won't hurt. And Ramadan's coming up, and that's, I think, what we should be doing all the time. During the month of Ramadan, that's the best time to learn. You're focused. You're probably hungry. You probably got that caffeine headache, the lack of caffeine headache. Your head's pounding, but at the end of the day, you're focused. Everybody tries to be more religious during Ramadan, right? It's hilarious to see at the beginning of Ramadan, everybody's at the jam, everybody's praying, mashallah, everybody's doing tarawih. And then in the middle of Ramadan, everybody's gone. And then the last 10 days, everybody's there again. And that's when you read, you understand. I tell people about Google. Okay, everybody wants to Google something. If you know business, if you study business and you study marketing, you will know that you can actually pay Google to put your search history up on top. Okay, so it's not like you're going to get the honest answer. You're going to get whoever paid the most answer on that Google thing. When my wife just found out about it, I'm like, I told you like 10 years ago that this is what they're going to do. Right? It's not, you can Google something, you can say, "I need an auto mechanic," and the guy who paid for the most expensive ad, you'll get his ad first. And you'll want to click that ad because he paid for that ad. And we're too lazy to go down to the third page, the fourth page to find the better mechanic. The same thing applies for our questions in Islam. As soon as we ask a question in Mr. Google, Sheikh Google, we go for the first answer. And we're like, "Oh, Google said, Mom, look, honey, look, your husband, my wife, look at this." And it's not the correct answer. We have to educate ourselves. Our parents have to, I'll be very honest, my brothers and I, we get together on Saturdays and we have, brother dinners, we hang out, families. And there's a hadith, maybe Tim can correct me if I'm wrong, that says every time you have a function in your house, you have to bring up some type of deen. You should have a talk about some Islamic talk, so that way you can kind of bless your settings, your family. It makes it a good conversation to have. It makes it a good environment. And we ask these questions to each other. "Hey, Khalid, did you hear about this? Hey, Bilal, did you hear about this? Oh man, that doesn't sound right. Let's ask Mom. Oh, there's that sheikh in Pompano Beach. Let's ask that guy real quick. Let's see what he says." And then we'll get back together the next week and say, "Oh, these are the answers that I found out." Because you have to ask the people you can trust. You can't trust Sheikh Google. He's awful. He's very, very awful. And a lot of times these people, maybe these sheikhs and these imams, they don't start out that way. But as they get more famous and as they get more views, as they get more followers, they're saying, "How can I take, for example, Sheikh Omar Suleiman's followers from him and bring them to my channel?"
Exactly.
It's like a competition of who has the most followers.
Exactly.
Right. They had the big event. They had the big event. I think it was in Chicago, where they had, mashallah, all three big major, social media influencers. I think it was Sheikh Umar Suleiman, Sheikh Bilal, whatever his name is, and Mufti Minka. I think they were all on stage together, right? And mashallah, everybody's cheering and everybody's going crazy and everybody's so excited to see these guys, not because of just the knowledge they possess, but because they're social media, huge social media influencers. These guys got to get combined, I think, over 60 million followers, mashallah.
Yeah, the
I'm sorry.
Like you said, it seems like it starts off with good intentions, but it ends up becoming a money thing, because there's a lot of money that can be made on YouTube just by having so many people come and hit and listen to your lectures. On all it takes is 36 seconds to listen, and that's a hit. So it starts off as something maybe with good intentions, but as Muslims, we know that good intentions do not excuse the sin. And Dr. Dremali, I believe that a lot of these young social Muslim influencers, they don't realize the dangers of speaking about this religion without knowledge. They don't understand what can happen to them as a result. Can you speak about that for us, Dr. Dremali?
No, actually, Brother Muhammad mentioned about the knowledge. Allah Azza wa Jalla يقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون. Ask, would Allah say that, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Al-Anbiya. So Allah said, ask the people of the knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah if you don't know. If you don't know. A lot of those speakers, by the way, yes, they always say we're not scholars. A lot of please give me attention. A lot of those speakers, like Omar and this and that person, say we are not ulama or scholars. You are making just da'wah. Yes, there are a lot, millions of followers, like Brother Muhammad, millions of followers. Yes, but the key to be in the safe side, as Allah said, ask the people of the knowledge, what? Their knowledge, the knowledge, not the speakers, but the people knowledge are Quran and the Sunnah and the Salaf Salih.
Well, let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, Sheikh, because I think a lot of the kids don't really understand that part of it. A lot of the followers that these people are following, these people that are listening to, don't realize that they're saying, I'm not a scholar, I'm a student. I'm still a student of learning. I'm a student. And I've heard them say that before. I'm not a scholar. You're absolutely right. But I think the population doesn't know the difference between a guy doing da'wah and a scholar. So I don't know if you can kind of more explain that a little bit more in detail for everybody.
But the key here, the parents now in Sunnahfollowers, most likely parents, or the best important, yes, number one, we cannot attack that person. For example, one in my masjid, a couple, the lady, she is graduated from Al-Azhar University. Al-Azhar, and her husband, a doctor. Then I give fatwa about the Quran. The woman, yes, she can read Quran without wudu, and even if she has a monthly period, she can read Quran, no problem. Immediately they came to my office, they fight with me. How dare you say the woman with monthly period to come to Quran? And I said, Aisha in Hajj, she was reading Quran. She's not making tawaf, but she reading Quran, Aisha. No, they said, no, so and so and so and so. I said, no, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did that. He has allowed his wife, Aisha. No, but Muhammad, so and so and so. The key, what I said, I cannot argue. Give me attention. Surah Al-Furqan, ayah number 62. Allah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. With the people of knowledge, Muslims, you are any ignorant come to you, you have knowledge. and somebody ignorant come to you, you cannot argue with the ignorant person, period. And also our kids, the ayah here, not stranger, my son and my daughter. For example, my own kids. Sometimes my daughter, Baba, so and so and so and so and so and so. I didn't attack my daughter or my son. I just listen, give my attention. Completely, I listen, listen to the end. And then after finish, I give the answer. Allah says so and so and so, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam so and so and so and so, and Salaf al-Salih, the companion of Rasulullah, says so and so and so and so. If Allah is saying so and so, then we have to stop. But the key here, Ali radiallahu ta'ala قال, give attention, خاطب الناس على قدر عقولهم. Speak to the people according to their mentality. If I have a person 60 years and 60 years and 60 years old, I speak to him his mentality. But kids, I go to his level to speak to him as Ali radiallahu said. That my point, we cannot argue with them if they have an extreme idea, and you cannot argue. You lose. Any ignorant person, you lose completely. Even if you have knowledge, you lose. Why? Because stubborn. Stubborn. But the people that he, as Allah said, Surah Yusuf, وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Argue with them in a very gentle and nice way. The key, Rasulullah, our example. If somebody kafir try to attack Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he do? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, angry, the Sahaba get angry, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he smiled. Smiled, not the fighter like Sister Layla is a fighter. With the Sunnah, she attacked. I use the same, but honestly, brothers, our present time is our parents, our community, our people around us. You have to understand, everybody have a cell phone. Brother Muhammad spoke about the cell phone. Actually, Brother Muhammad spoke about it. I was, myself, afraid. I used to have every movement my wife do funny in the house. I record her. Now I stop. Why? I learned this from Brother Muhammad. The non-evil people also the same thing. But the key, we cannot argue with them, but give your way in a very gentle way, nice way, and intelligent way with approve you, inshallah, step by step to be in the safe side. Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, subhanallah. I have some statistics here that was given by the Morning Consultant Group for ABC television. The ABC Morning Show, they did a statistics, and it shows a staggering 72% of Generation Z and millennials regularly follow influencers on different social media platforms. Surprisingly, of that percent, 94% of the men follow YouTube social media influencers, and 83% of the women follow Instagram. And I know that's true because you guys know here at Sunnahfollowers, we're streaming on all the social platforms. My YouTube statistics show that I have more men following us. Like right now, there's more men logged on now listening, but on Instagram, there's more women. And TikTok, it's mostly children. They didn't have TikTok in this thing, but it's mostly children.
Wow.
So that's amazing. Brother Muhammad, what can you share about that with us? SubhanAllah.
So YouTube is old school, right? Remember, that's back when, that's when we started the internet. Like we were all about YouTube. Instagram used to be about cooking, food, decorating your house. It was more like a homebody type thing. So that's, you kind of get the female perspective on that kind of stuff. So YouTube, yes, was men, and kids, and then you have, because you had YouTube Kids coming into play. Then you have the Instagram that came into play for the homebody, the cooking, the recipes, the sharings of how to decorate your house, all that kind of stuff. And now Instagram turned more into like a business platform for people to spread their businesses around, right? I never had Instagram until we started this business, and never knew how you can kind of blow your business up just by getting yourself an Instagram. The problem that we're seeing and we're having, and you talk about Generation Z, you would think that our people, our Muslims, the Muslims that are that have been raised in that era of Islam, with parents like me, like who will try to preach and try to talk and try to explain. Like my wife, mashallah, she's very good with this kind of stuff, and she's good with the religion, and she's good. She does her thing. You would think that, our generation, parents, me, my wife, and our generation would be teaching their kids the same way, right? It was funny. We laugh about it a little bit. We say our parents came to this country so we can work our butts off to go back to our countries. And it kind of just flip-flopped around, where we kind of just don't want to go back to our countries. We don't want to go. We want to live where we live, and we want to stay where we're staying. And we want to stay in our little bubble that we have out here. The thing with the social media aspect of it all is, if the parents aren't talking to their kids about what they're viewing, about what they're watching, about what they're hearing, even if it's just a little clip of a 30-second clip of something, you got to know what they're seeing. You got to know what they're watching. And I'm gonna throw it out to the audience too, because I want to hear some questions that these guys might have out here in the world, because it's not just us. Right, it's not just the Muslims. The non-Muslims are having just as much problems. If I tell you how many, Hispanic people I've met doing my marital counseling aspect, part of my business or part of my career, and hearing the woman say, "Well, he liked all these girls' pictures on Facebook, and that's why I'm divorcing him, because he liked all those pictures. He clicked like." And I don't want to be a part of, a guy who's looking at other girls' pictures. If we're coming from a law enforcement background as well, we use that social media stuff on a daily basis for divorces, for for becoming, when they're talking about the kids' alimonies and child support. They will use, and the judges, the lawyers, they'll use all those social media platforms. If you're posting that you have this brand new Lamborghini, but you're telling your ex-wife you can only give them $50 a month, they will take that into consideration and stuff. So social media, it's a great thing, but it backfires on a lot of people, and they don't know that stuff. You're liking pictures while you're married to somebody. People's egos and people's self-esteem, all that kind of stuff goes down the drain when you're on that social media platforms. Social media gives you guys false expectations. I've been asked many times, many times, by different kids and different people, "Oh, Brother Muhammad, you should start a channel. Oh, brother, you should start this. You should do this. You should start this. Get yourself on YouTube, man. You can make, you're like a motivational speaker, man. You got me doing." Even non-Muslims, when I did my counseling stuff, my therapy stuff, and I worked in the jails, the inmates would tell me, "Yeah, man, Muhammad, if you get a YouTube video, bro, you can make millions of dollars, man. You're a motivational speaker. You're actually real, man. You're genuine. You can help a lot of people." And in my head, your head gets bigger, right? You're hearing all these people telling you all this stuff, and you're like, "Oh yeah, man, mashallah, I can help a lot of people, right? I can do that. I can, maybe Allah will give me better rewards if I go on YouTube and I make my channel." But then I said, let me not put myself out there like that, right? Because I'll do it one person at a time, and then alhamdulillah, the money got me going on these YouTube channels and on these little Zooms. And I don't like to do these kinds of things, only because I'm not looking for clout, right? I'm not looking for controversy. I'm not talking trash about somebody. I don't want to do all that stuff. And that's when you start to talk about, again, it all goes back to the social media influencers of our Islamic faith. They're looking for controversy. They're looking for clout. They're looking for an argument. I've seen these guys who will, they'll put little thumbnails. I don't know if you look up on your screens, just little thumbnails of the pictures, and they know exactly how to market their video. Christian guy getting blasted by Muslim imam, you know, and you're like, oh, this sounds cool. Let me click on that. And it's just a regular dawah channel guy talking, and he's just having a conversation. Then it's the next one. Oh, you know, Sheikh such and such is flipping out on this atheist. And you're like, oh, this sounds good. Let me, you know, the thumbnails are what it's called marketing. They want you to click it. You watch something for 30 seconds, boom, they got paid. You don't like it after 30 seconds, you're not going to watch the rest of it. You don't care. You're Xing out of it, but they already got their money because you already watched it for more than 30 seconds. So if you guys kind of like just understand something, and I told the last class I was in the Lezha before I went to South Tawfiq, the other school, and I told the kids, yeah, I'll do this one thing. Just on the weekend, before Ramadan starts. So one thing, I told the 8th graders, take a weekend of detox. Just a weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday. If your parents aren't working, if your parents are working or not working, if you have a parent at home, if you have an uncle at home, if you have something at home, ask them on a Saturday, hey, let's go dribble the basketball around for a little. Let's go throw the football around a little. Let's go play some soccer for, you know, ask your parents for just on a Saturday and Sunday. Take 2 days off. See what happens to your brain. See what happens to your mindset. See what happens to your mentality in 2 days when you have no type of internet or no type of, you know, any type of social media or anything like that. You'll be amazed what would happen after 1 day. After 1 day of not having it, let alone 2 days. And I tell them 2 days because for me, when I talk about setting goals and careers and all that stuff, let's do realistic. I can't tell you to take a month off. That's too much, right? Even when, you know, they were trying, even when Allah was making alcohol, prohibiting alcohol, well, how did he do? He did it in steps, right? Don't drink before you pray. Don't, you know, he was doing it in steps because he knows addiction. You don't just quit cold turkey. You don't quit cold turkey. It's hard to quit. Imagine telling somebody, stop smoking cigarettes. Well, you can't. It's hard to give that kind of stuff up. So take a 2-day detox. Take a 1-day detox. You know, try to see what happens to your mindset. And instead of looking online, open up a book. I don't, you know, Quran, whatever, Sunnah book, whatever, Dawah book, whatever, you know, Hadith book, whatever kind of book you want to read. I don't care if it's a story book that you want to read, a Stephen King book. See what happens to your mindset. Your imagination has gone, like the next generation, the generation underneath us, their imagination is gone. Gone. There's no creativity. There's no type of imagination. And that's what they're trying to do. I'm not just talking about the imams or the sheikhs. Social media has, and the society we live in, the Western society, if you go overseas, you'll see a different breed of people. Totally different breed of people. The way they work, the way they act, the way they walk, the way they talk. They actually talk to each other. They have conversations with each other, face-to-face conversations with each other. Right here, we're like, oh, just text me. We don't even call anymore. Nobody talks on the phone anymore. Nobody wants to converse on the phone. Just text me. Right? If you call somebody, oh, you're so old. Why are you so old? Why do you talk on the phone? You're old school. Right? And that's one of the things that we've lost for our next generation underneath us. The 25-year-olds and under, when they talk about marriage to me and the stuff that they say, I have to laugh because I have to tell them, whatever you're seeing on social media, my brother, that's not reality. That is not reality. And I don't know, you know, the kids, how many kids we have on this thing. So I kind of want to keep it rated G and stuff like this. But there's some stuff that these kids are saying to me. It's 25 to 26-year-olds. And subhanAllah, I just got a message from one of the brothers that I get on WhatsApp. He's like, Brother Muhammad, I got a question for you, man. I just got married and she's 19 years old, but brother, whatever you're seeing on social media, throw that in the trash. And I did the same thing with him, where I told him, listen, you're 20, I think he's 26 or 27 years old. Put your phone away. Turn off the social media for 2 or 3 days. Detox your body. Keep your phone on you because you got to make a call to your mom. You got to call your dad, whatever. But turn off the social media for a couple of days and see what happens to how you and your wife will interact with each other.
We have a question, Brother Muhammad, from one of the parents here. She says that she just found out that her son spends a lot of time, I'm not going to mention the person's channel, watching a famous YouTube Islamic influencer. She said, and she just discovered he watches him regularly. And so she turned in on the channel to see what it was about. And it's nothing but kafir calling, debating, and putting people down. She said, how do they keep my son coming back to hear that garbage?
So how exactly what I said from before, it's controversy, right? I'm going to put some people on blast. I don't care. They could, whatever happens. Inshallah, Allah forgives me. But we got this guy. He's a big dude. I think his name is Muhammad Ziedeh. He's a big guy.
That's who she just mentioned. That's who she mentioned.
That's what I figured, right? I figured it was this guy. When you said that, I know this because I watched this guy's clips, right? And I don't watch him to learn. Very educated guy, mashallah. He must know his deen. He knows what he's doing. He got into a lot of debates with a lot of Christians, a lot of atheists, and he knows how to answer back and forth. But it always comes back to the controversy, right? He actually said something. I was scrolling through TikTok, I think yesterday or today, and he said, "Oh, I know I have to be less aggressive, and I know being cocky is haram, and this and this and this and that." So he kind of put out his weaknesses, right? Because he knows.
What is his name?
Muhammad Ziedeh. He's a younger hijab. His last name is Hijab. Muhammad Ziedeh. He's a good guy. Listen, I'm not saying he's bad or good. I just say like he wants that clout, right? Oh, I'm gonna fight with Ben Shapiro. I want to debate this guy. I want to debate Jordan Peterson. I want to debate these people. And he's always yelling and screaming and yelling, and being really. He's a manly man. He's so tall and he's big and he's built and he's muscular and he with all right, mashallah, I'm happy for the brother. That's great. But again, as a Muslim, young Muslim, as a parent, explain to the kids, these guys are going for clout. They want that controversy. They want your kids to have their eyes glued onto that channel. Right, because it's exciting. Well, what's he gonna do next? What's he gonna say? Right, when everything started happening in Palestine and Gaza, everybody said, "Oh, where's DJ Khaled? Where's DJ Khaled? How come DJ Khaled doesn't say anything? This guy's got 50 million people following him around. How comes?" And I said to everybody, "Whoa, calm down. Do you really want a brother like that? A guy who raps and advertises for Ciroc and alcohol and all this kind of stuff and does all this haram stuff? Do you really want him vouching for the Palestinians?" He's better off not saying anything, because he'd probably make us look even worse, right? So you have to kind of flip the script on understanding. We're looking for the wrong people to follow. We have the one person we're supposed to follow, but because he's not in front of us, he's not in front of our faces, he's not on TikTok, he's not on social media, we don't know how to follow it, and that's the Prophet. That's it, right? But we have these guys who know how. There's another dawah guy. He's really big. He's on the pier, I think, in New Jersey. I wish I knew his name, but he's a big guy, and he puts the Quran on in the middle of the bay, and he's his camera's on, and there's girls in bathing suits crossing his path, and I said, okay, so what are you trying to do, brother? What are you trying to videotape? Are you videotaping your dawah? Are you videotaping the girls? Are you videotaping the fact that you're in front of the girls saying, "I'm doing dawah so these girls can change"? Like, what's your intentions? Allah knows his intentions. I don't know his intentions. But for me, I said, put the camera on you if you want to videotape yourself doing that. Why put the video camera on everything? Right? And I get the controversy behind it. If I do this, people are going to want to watch my channel because they're going to learn dawah and they're going to see something at the same time. Right? And I'm going to go back to the non-Muslims and the complaints that I get from these parents that these kids are watching these video game people, right? There's those video game people. And everybody wants to watch people playing video games. That's the cool thing now. I'm going to watch this guy playing Roblox. I'm going to watch this girl playing Fortnite. And you get paid to play video games. It's hilarious to me, right? And if you look down the streamers and you see who's streaming video games, you'll see a guy playing, Fortnite. He's got like 5 views, 5 people watching him right now. Then you see a girl who's dressed like an anime character who has her body half showing, and she's playing video games and she's making these sounds and making these words. And then you look at your kid's, iPad. What are you watching? Oh, it's just a girl playing video games. Yeah, but it's a girl playing video games just half naked. saying these nasty stuff on online. And you look at how many people are watching. She's got 7,000 people live streaming with her, and they're playing the same games. So that tells you that's controversy. That they know how to get the content. They know how to market themselves, right? And it's very simple to market yourself. If you want to market your business, it's very easy, right? And subhanAllah, alhamdulillah, I always say, like, if you do things the halal way, halal money comes to you, you're fine. But and it goes from. Go ahead.
But Muhammad, how to gonna prevent ourselves to do that?
That's what the lady's asking too. What can she do to take him away, especially from the brother you mentioned earlier? She said he's really into this man says. What can she do as a parent to take him away from that?
Yeah.
How old is this brother, if you don't mind me asking? How old is this kid?
Let me see what she types. So let me look.
Because at the end of the day,
with this kind of a question, I have another question.
Okay.
She typed 21.
October 7th. How old was that, sister?
21.
21. Okay, so at the age of 21.
She said he won't go to the mosque either. He just sits there watching Dawah Man, this guy and Dawah Man.
So I'm hoping he's listening. I'm gonna make dua that this kid's listening to me, because as a 21-year-old, right? As a 21-year-old, I was talking to the 8th graders a couple of days ago about how weak our iman is, right? How weak our hearts are, compared to the other generation, the older generation, like my generation, right? Somebody can throw a bottle of beer in my hand, in my face, say, "Hey, man, drink this beer, man, it's good." I'm like, "No, I'm good." But you ask a 25-year-old, maybe, I don't know, I'm feeling it. But so subhanAllah, like the younger generations, they're weak-minded, weak-hearted, weak-souled. And so if a 21-year-old has that much weakness in his heart that he can't even go to the masjid, he really, really, really needs to check himself out and do it like a nice detox. The parents, I know, man, it's tough, man. A 21-year-old, now you still gotta, raise a 21-year-old. It's tough. I'm raising a 15-year-old that thinks she's 21. It is hard to raise a kid at 21, and they're not supposed to be a kid after 21, right? In America, at 18, you're an adult. But for us, once you hit that mark of puberty, you're an adult. You know right from wrong. You know haram from halal. You have no excuses, right? As long as the parents did you right. Right, and that always goes back to that as well. I tell the non-Muslims the same thing. You want to let your kid watch these video games, these people playing video games. That's on you as a parent, right? But if you're not explaining to your kids, "Hey, man, look, that guy, that imam, that sheikh, that dawah guy, did you hear him when he first said that he's not a scholar?" Because he says it a lot. He'll say that, and just in my defense, I'm not a scholar. Yeah, he'll go and debate everybody left and right and cause this whole big scene. And he'll laugh. He has this big aggressive laugh. If you guys ever seen his videos, he's a very funny guy, very charismatic, very loud, very well-spoken guy. He's very addictive, right? And I said this yesterday in the school. I told the kids, I said, there was a lot of studies that have happened where they've put MRI scans on kids using phones, and they compared it to people who are on crack. And the same parts of your brains light up. Right. And if you think about it, and like I said, I've been with drugs and alcohol and law enforcement for over 20-something years. It's an addiction. These guys make you laugh, and making you laugh makes you forget everything. And then in your back of his 21-year-old mind head, he's thinking, "Well, I'm learning the thing. I'm learning from this guy. Right? I'm learning from that guy." Well, yeah, you are sort of, kind of. It's better than watching other stuff you could be watching. But are you being really smart about what you're watching? Are you re-educating yourself? Are you going to the masjid and picking up the Quran and really reading what Muhammad Hijab said? Are you really criticizing what they're saying? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to read, tells us to get the knowledge, tells us to study, tells us to learn. Right? Ask the questions. You have to ask questions. We're not blind faith people. Right? We're not those blind faith people that say, "Oh, it's in God's, it's just God's way of doing things." No, we have to educate it. There's a reason why we fast. There's a reason why we pray. There's a reason why we do everything that we do. Just back then, we never, we asked the sheikh, "Why do we have to go fasting Ramadan?" "Oh, because it's haram if you don't." That's not the answer we give these kids anymore. Right? That's the answer you give me. Right? "Why don't I drink?" "Well, it's haram." "Okay, khalas, it's haram. I'm not going to drink." But ask a doctor why you shouldn't drink. The doctor will tell you, your liver's going to mess up, your arteries are going to mess up, your veins are going to mess up, your skin's going to get ugly. It's poison. right? It's poison. So what, it took 1,400 years for the scientists to figure out that alcohol is poison? There's a reason why Allah tells us these things, and why the reason why Muhammad was the last prophet, and he was the prophet for all the people, not just for the Arabs. And I think that's what kind of confuses people too, right? They think, oh, it's just for the Arab. No, it's for everyone, all mankind, right? There's a reason why he tells us to get knowledge, to read, to ask questions. Muhammad Hijab is hilarious. He is a funny guy. He's very educated. He's very well spoken. But that's a lot of these social media influencers. They have a lot of people behind them. Now, I'm hoping this brother is listening to me. They have a lot of people behind them who are teaching them how to market themselves, right? Because I guarantee you, I can tell you in about 6 months or so, you're going to see Muhammad Hijab with Omar Suleiman, with Mufti Mink, with that other guy Bilal. They're going to come together and they're going to make a, mashallah, cool video, and they're going to be, we're one ummah. Yeah, that's great. Inshallah, alhamdulillah, inshallah, that's our intentions. But we don't really know unless we do our own research and read ourselves. I hope that kind of helps out the situation, inshallah.
Yeah, and with that too, Dr. Dremali, he hit it on right on head. I think it's a problem too. It gets to the people of knowledge. When people come to ask questions, because as a daya, when they come to ask me a question, or you, we break it down. We give them the evidence from the Quran, the authentic hadith, and we go further and give them examples from the companions. But a lot of these other imams or people of knowledge, it's just yes or no, instead of just breaking it down, and explaining why, and showing how the companions, that there is nothing that we encounter today that they haven't. Any suggestions, Dr. Dremali, as to how we can change that? I mean, you're one of the scholars here in America. How can you make a change to get these imams to give more information, give the dalil, instead of just the yes/no answers? Go ahead.
Before we continue that, brother and sister, tomorrow, inshallah, Dr. Ali Shahada and myself, actually, with Aris University, we're going to start tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Eastern time. The night time here, 11 o'clock, I am in Pennsylvania. Center time, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Me, I have two subjects today, Aqidah and Fiqh, and Fiqh Sirah. Why Aqidah? This is the brother, actually 21 years old. To understand, you're gonna, in Aris University, you're gonna diploma, 2 years diploma, and also 4 years bachelor's degree. And if you have a high school, you're gonna more, plus, give me attention, we get scholarship. Under my name, put my name, Sunnahfollowers, Dremali, Sunnahfollowers, you get a scholarship 100%. And not you have a degree in your hand. You learn, and you can for male, and you be an imam. You can teach here with knowledge, And those speakers, as Brother Muhammad said, eloquent, beautiful. Even this talk, especially with it angry, you get more knowledge. Ali, give me attention here. Islamically, anyone get angry, can't understand anything without knowledge. So, in fact, I couldn't say scientifically here, actually, growing your own mind by default. You're going to be excited. That waves come straight to your eyes, your brain. Step by step, you could be sleepless, number one, tired, and you're gonna hate the people around you. And in this case, everybody's gonna hate you. They're gonna hate you. If you're gonna hate the people around you, you fight with them, you have no respect. You lose your identity. You use yourself, you use completely your humanity. My advice, be careful what you are watching. Be careful of charging. Brother Muhammad, I have a question very important here.
Yes, brother.
Since the war started, this is a question for me and myself.
Okay.
The war started October 7th, and 73 of my family got killed so far. A lot of my house, myself, my brother and my sister destroyed completely, my family under the beat. Now, me myself, and I believe many sisters and brothers actually in Sunnahfollowers as well, they are watching Jazeera, I watching Aqsa, the news what's going on. And now I have connected actually with some groups, like social media in Palestine, Gaza. I cannot even hear anything about them. I worry. But me myself, because first time in my life, holding the phone and my laptop or iPad and news. How? Plus, I'm gonna start teach again in university. Plus, I am imam of the mosque here. Plus, I have some also online. I'm teaching also online. I can't even concentrate in my job. What to do, Brother Muhammad? I believe a lot of brothers and sisters the same thing. That's me because my family got killed. What to do to hold myself not watching this news?
It's tough. It's hard because I watch the same. I probably watch, me and your feed are probably the same on our social media platforms, right? We see the videos that are coming out from Gaza. We see the videos that are coming out from the West Bank. We see all this stuff, right? And it's hard. It's hard, you know. We're one home. If you don't have this anxiety, if you don't have the depression, if you don't get sad, then something's wrong with you, right? Something's wrong with you with your iman if you don't get sad if you're seeing this stuff. Alhamdulillah that we get sad. Alhamdulillah we hurting. Alhamdulillah. That's good that we're feeling this pain. But compared to what they're feeling over there, we're not feeling it. It's not even close to what they're feeling over there. And one of the things that kind of keeps me going is seeing how many people have been converting on the fastest. When I used to talk about Islam and how Islam is going to be the top religion by 2040, Islam is going to surpass Christianity. Islam is going to by 2040. I was always doing the research on it. They're saying by 2027, 2026, 2027 is going to be the year that Islam takes over all the religions. Because right now they put Christianity on top. But when you look it up and you read, you read not just Google. Like I like to read things. I keep saying I'm dork. I like to read. I like to read real facts, right? Like read real things. And when you see that 5 years ago, they were saying by 2040, 2042, Islam's going to be on top of Christianity. It's going to be Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, and then all others. And when you see the number change from 2040 to 2027, that is right there. That's what gives me hope, right? And I always say maybe, inshallah, maybe for one kid they kill in Gaza, they have 10 people converting to Islam, and seeing that is what kind of gives me hope that, when you have more Muslims all around the world, I think there's a hadith or something where the Prophet said that Islam will spread, but not the way we think it's going to spread, right? Not through wars and not through fighting, but through the refugees getting displaced. Yeah, with the war. And with the wars, but we not fighting, we're running away, right? We're becoming refugees. If you think of what happened when Syria went to war, and let's look back a little bit. Syria went to war, and they destroyed Syria and all those refugees. Germany has had a population loss, right, that same year, because people in Germany, the non-Muslims were not having kids. They want to party, they want to drink, they don't want to have any responsibilities, so they don't want to have kids. They just want to go out and have fun and do all this kind of stuff. MashaAllah, they said, okay, give us 150,000 Syrian refugees because we need to increase our population. But what happened? The Syrians, Muslims, mostly Christians, they have it in their bloodline to have more kids and to pop out more kids. So when the war started, I think it was in 2000 and I want to say like 17 or 18 when they went to war with Syria till now, all these people are having kids and they're going to start outnumbering the people that are already in Germany. And so when you think about that life, that stuff, that kind of gives me a little bit of hope and say, alhamdulillah, there's a reason for everything. There's always something good that comes out of all that, right? And yes, they destroyed Syria. Yes, they're destroying Gaza. But look what's happening now where we're expanding our empire of Deen, right? And I think the only problem that we have and I think it's slowly starting to kind of fix itself, is that we're always separated, right? Oh, you're Palestinian. Oh, you're Pakistani. Oh, you're a Black Muslim. Oh, you're from Afghanistan. Oh, you're from this country. Oh, you're from that country. We've allowed those invisible lines that the West has created to divide us. And I think that with what's going on in Gaza, that's starting to go away. And it's starting to like kind of fade, where we're starting to now become one ummah again. And it's awesome to see how now we all have a common goal, right? Freeing a country, freeing the people, allowing for freedom, to let them have a glass of water. Like, we're all on the same page, because the Muslim ummah, we feel each other's pain, and we have to. So you have to be depressed. You have to be sad. You have to have that anxiety, but you also have to have a way to kind of cope with all that as well, right? And I don't want people self-medicating or doing any drugs or drinking or smoking because they're sad or because they're depressed. But you have to find an outlet, right? You can't just stick 110% with your just deen. Right? You gotta flood it with something else. You gotta have some sports or some, go gardening or plant something, play with the dirt, right? And I've kind of noticed just watching people gardening. My sister started gardening, her fingers getting dirty and getting that soil on your hands, and being one with the earth and talking to the plants. It sounds stupid. I do it. When I garden my tomatoes, I talk to my garden. I talk to my tomatoes. I'm like, "Assalamu alaikum, guys. How are you?" And my neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but it kind of gives me some type of relief. I get to talk to somebody that not get talked back to, right? And it's tough, Sheikh. I know, man. It's hard, but you got to figure out a way to kind of balance it out, right? There's times where I can't sleep because I'm sitting on my phone, just like everybody else. I'm sitting on my phone. When I'm laying in bed, I'm laying on bed like this, and boom, it hits my head because I got mad at something, or I missed my phone, hit my face, and I have to put my phone down and say, "Khalas. Let me make some dua, let me read some Quran, and let me go to sleep." Because you're not gonna be your 110%. You're not gonna be able to do your sheikhnas, you're not gonna be your teacher. You're not gonna be able to do anything 100% if you're not well rested. And you're not doing anybody a favor, because that's not fair to the rest of the world, because you are a good sheikh. You are a good imam. You're good. Mashallah, you're very you're a knowledgeable guy. So if you're not healthy, it's not fair for us.
I'm trying, brother. When you see your family, I supposed to go next year to teach my nieces and my nephews swimming and diving. And most of my kids, my nephews and my nieces got killed.
I know.
Got killed. Plus not only that, their house is destroyed. They have a tent now. And actually they are wealthy. Now they live in the tent. And alhamdulillah, sometimes I call mostly my nieces and their kids. It's hard, make me sleepless. I can't eat. I can't even. Alhamdulillah, my wife become like a companion, try to support me here. But I go to the gym. I hit the gym just because I cannot handle it. Yeah.
SubhanAllah. I know. And that brings
us. Brothers and sisters, Sunnahfollowers, please, your dua, especially unseen dua, accepted. Situation right now is worse than you cannot even imagine. 99% of the people have no houses and in the tents. And not only that, people have no tent, no food. People die of hunger. A lot of people hunger, and kids, babies with hunger and sickness. It's very, very cold, especially January, February, March. It's very, very, very cold. I lived there all my life. I grew up there. I know how it's cold. And plus, there's nothing even to cover themselves. And all the youth got arrested by the Zionism, and they're making naked completely, the youth, naked completely with this kind of cold. A lot of people got killed and died out of cold and hunger at the same time. Dua, secret dua, make difference, inshallah, brother and sister, please.
Ameen. And that brings us to another question here too. Brother Muhammad, can you tell us What are some warning signs, if any, that we should be aware of when it comes to deciding if a social media personality is being genuine or not? What are some of the signs that the youth today, people listening to us, should look for, is so that they can decipher whether the person is just looking for fame and money or if the person's being genuine?
So I'm just me personally, I like to I like to listen to all these guys, and if you really listen deep into how they're communicating and how they're trying to get their message across, depending on how they're doing things. There's a sheikh, he's an older guy, he's got this big beard, he's a funny sheikh, funny guy, funny man. He answers questions and he makes jokes when he's answering questions. Even my daughter will show me the clips, like, Mama, did you see this guy? And then what he said about this and what he said about that. And I always kind of have to do my research on that person, right? I go on the YouTube channels, on their channel, and I kind of sift through their stuff. And because the one good thing about the internet is everything's timestamped, right? And you can kind of see where they started from to where they're at now. And if you see how they started in their intentions, and that's why I say that I don't think people really start, because I've done this before where I look back at their time-stamped videos and I said, okay, well, this is the first video this guy posted. Let me see how he was doing his thing before I critique or do anything like that. And if I see their humbleness, because Islam is supposed to be humble, right? You're not supposed to be cocky, you're not supposed to be overconfident, you're not supposed to be disrespectful. That's not how you do da'wah, right? We don't do da'wah like that. We don't disrespect people. We don't yell at people. I saw the one video clip of one guy going against the Christian guy, and his guy destroyed him. I did this to him. I did that to him. No. Like you had maybe 2 minutes to help that brother understand that his religion was not the right religion, and then he was probably maybe facing the maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should go to Islam. Then he heard you say those comments where you said I destroyed him and I made him look like an idiot, and I said this to this guy, and then you just kind of destroy that guy's emotions and you hurt his feelings. And now he's gonna say, well, is that what Muslims act like? Is that how Muslims behave? And for me, maybe they're going across and they're saying the right thing. Maybe, alhamdulillah, they're saying everything the correct way. But how you say things makes a big difference. Makes a huge difference. And that determines whether or not you're going to see the genuinity of someone's heart. SubhanAllah, I'm going to tell you guys something. When I go to these schools and I go to these masjids and I go to these classrooms, the Islamic teacher will say, man, Brother Muhammad, man, I said the same thing you just said. But they don't listen to me. And I'm saying, well, how did you say what you said? Right? Because a lot of the times when I go in these classes, I ask the teachers to stay in with me. Right? I want you to stay in with me. Like, I don't, sometimes they'll leave and, the kids want them to go out because they'll be real with me and they'll ask me real questions that they don't want to ask in front of their teachers because they know I'm not going to tell their parents what we talk about. I want the kids to go to their parents and tell them what we're talking about. I don't want to go to the parents. I've had many fathers that came to me on family night and would say, brother, what are you doing telling my kids that we have to go play basketball together? What are you doing telling my kids that I should go play soccer with them? What, how tired I get? And I get these angry parents because I'm telling them to go have fun with their kids. And I just laugh. I just laugh. Right? But to go back to what I was saying with the imams and the sheikhs, I tell them, you're more knowledgeable than me. There's a reason why you're a sheikh and you're an imam and not me. But how you say things, how you come across to these kids, they'll know, this youth will know if you're genuine or if you're just saying stuff just to say stuff. Right? And there's one thing that I've always told a lot of people. Right? I get asked the question, how do you go and present in front of people without having anything written down? How do you go to talk in front of all these kids and you don't have nothing on your phone, you don't have anything ready? How do you go and do this? I said, because at the end of the day, I'm not lying. And I'm being real. Right? And I know what I'm talking about. I understand, I'm very confident in what I'm talking about. Okay, but then I'm an opposite guy when we have meetings. I'm the quietest guy in the meetings. I won't say a word when we're at a round table with sergeants and all these people that are in charge of me, or up on top, all these politicians. I won't say a word until I get asked, "Hey, Mama, you didn't say anything all like the hour and a half. You didn't say anything," because I'm listening, right? And plus, I talk too much when I'm presenting, and I'm talking too much when I'm talking to do my therapy. I want to listen to see what you guys are saying. Then I answer what's going on. For me, when I'm listening to somebody, how they're speaking, their tone will depict to me if they're being genuine and sincere, or they're just doing it to say something and to get some type of reaction and to get some clout. And when I say clout, I mean they want the views, they want the clips, they want you to like, they want you to share. People don't realize that's all money. Liking, viewing, sharing. That's all money for them. These guys who said, they go around and they sit on the table and they make this dawah, and then I hear them when they're talking to these people about Islam. They're like, well, how much is your mosque paying you to be here? No, I'm donating my time. I'm not getting paid. I'm donating my time. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to donate their time. They're not supposed to get paid from the masjid. And then you look, and they're not wrong. They're not lying. But then you look at how much they're getting paid from YouTube and how much they're getting paid from TikTok. How much the message is not paying you, but you're getting paid from this end. And do I hate them for doing that? No, I can't hate on anybody. I want you to be viewed. I want you to spread out. This is why the deen has been spreading the fastest, is because of the internet. But who are you following?
Right.
Who are you watching? Have you opened up a book and read yourself? Right? Because alhamdulillah, the Quran has never been changed. It can't be changed. So have you opened one up and looked through it yourself? There's a lot of translations that you can watch, you can read through. Have you listened to the Quran? A real sheikh and a real imam listening to the Quran. Have you gone to your own Quran, your own masjid, your neighborhood masjid, and talked to the imam? Because I'm pretty sure the masjids usually, they do their whole background checks on these imams to know where they're coming from, know what they're talking about. They have to be educated in a certain type of way. Have you gone to that masjid and said, hey, look, I've seen brother, Sheikh Umar Suleiman said this. Is this true, Sheikh? Is this true, Imam? And get the right knowledge from the right people. And then open up a book. It's not hard. I don't even open up a book anymore. I have it on my phone, right? I go through the Quran. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm driving or I'm sitting in a meeting and they're boring. I can't open up a book, so I'm going to open up my phone and read and learn. Because at the end of the day, you're going to see for yourself that there is many social media influencers out there, Islamic social media influencers out there. Listen to their tones. Listen to how they're speaking. There's a guy that's right there. He always posts his lectures, his Friday lectures. He always posts his Friday lectures, and mashallah, I think he's got like over 900,000 followers. Newer guy. And he always posts this stuff. And I can't say anything because all the messages do that. Right? All the messages post up their videos, which is, colors. You want to get that way, you want people to learn, that's how you do it. But you have to listen to him. And this guy, sometimes I'm still debating whether or not I can like this guy or I trust this guy. And it's taken me a couple of weeks.
Okay, let me
weeks to listen to it.
Let me pop in here for a second because I'm looking. Let me turn my camera on. Here we go. Layla's looking on here on social platform. I'm gonna read the comments here. We got a brother that commented here. He said, I listen, and this is an example. This is an example, guys, of what I tell you about how we all began with that hadith about the Ruwaybida, and we talk about how criminal we are, the human soul by nature. Everybody's listening to this wonderful brother Muhammad Ziedeh speak about this. Listen to what this brother typed. He said, I listened to Muhammad Hijab, Daniel Hakakikatu, Zakir Naki, Omar Summon, Mufti Mink. They are my brothers in Islam. I learn a lot from them. Will never talk bad about them. Allah knows best. I'm going back 20 minutes ago to what you said about brother Hijab. Didn't nobody say anything bad about any of these brothers. Astaghfirullah. And then he said, I refuse to not boycott. Did we mention the word boycott here?
No. Okay,
He said, I refuse. Let me read him, then you can address him. I refuse to not boycott either. I still love my fellow Muslim Ummah. May Allah guide us all. I didn't say he said bad about him, but they are still my Muslim who defend Islam and speak. Address that. This is how fitna gets started. Go ahead, Brother Muhammad.
Okay, so I'm not saying to protest or boycott any of those brothers. I like I said, I don't. There's a way of saying that. That's my whole take on this whole situation. I think the brother missed the whole. Maybe he missed the whole thing of me talking about. Kind of like just the tone of how you're saying things and the mannerisms of how you say things. There's brothers who came to convert to Islam, to the masjids, on nothing having to do with Quran or Sunnah, on watching how Muslims behave with each other and asking the question, how are you acting like this? Why are you acting like this? Why are you stopping everything? Why are you stopping your work and everything in the middle of the day to take 10 minutes out? What are you doing? And when you tell them, oh, I'm praying or I'm doing this, oh, yeah, it's just my religion, I got to stop and refocus and get my energy. These people see that. They see the mannerisms of the deen, of the Muslim Ummah, and they want to be a part of that. How do I get like that? How do I get patient? How do I get that feeling of that, my oneness with God, of my togetherness with God, with Allah? I'm not saying Muhammad Hijab is bad. I've never said anything bad about Muhammad Hijab. Inshallah, I don't think I ever did. I'm just saying, like Ziedeh, I listened to Ahmed Ziedeh, all the ones he's talked about, I listened to all those guys, right? And I've loved all those guys because I'm learning from every single one of them. Even Muhammad Hijab, I listened to him, I learned from him. Oh, is this true? But let me go and do my research quick. Let me go and ask some questions real quick. Because I'll text certain people that I know that are more knowledgeable than me from here, that I know face to face, that I've seen face to face, and ask them, hey, I heard this brother over here say X, Y, and Z. Is this true? And then they'll give me the right answer. Okay, again, I'm not telling anybody to protest anybody. I'm not asking anybody to boycott anybody. I want you to learn. That's the best way to learn right now is through social media. And again, I don't know if that brother was with us last time, but I said there's a couple of ways you can take social media. You can do haram and bad stuff with it, or you can do the good stuff with it. I've learned how to do electrical work. I've changed all the lights in my house. I've done my own plumbing. I've learned all this stuff. I'm not a handyman. I was never a handyman until I started looking up YouTube stuff. So you can learn, and I've gotten closer to my deen because I've listened to people like Muhammad Hijab and Omar Suleiman. I listened to his things during Ramadan. He had the 30 days of different things that he does and the prophets and all that kind of stuff. I love those guys. I love what they do. I love what they say. But you have to make sure that you're watching from the beginning, not just those 30-second clips, from the beginning to where they're at now. See how they started and see where they're at now. A lot of the times you'll see a lot of the brothers will start out very cool, very calm, very collect. A lot of these brothers, I'm sorry to say, they see the fame coming, right, and they forget about that, right? And I'm not saying that they're not spreading goodness, they're not spreading true Islam, but it's the way we're spreading things, right? And you have to remember, Islam isn't just about what we say; it's how we say it, how we act, how we behave, right? Even in active wars, right? When we're having wars, we know we can't kill women, we can't kill children. But then you see these other people who have no deen, they're just slaughtering everybody because they don't have that aspect of that religion in their hearts like we do. Everything we say, everything we do, we have to have a form of mannerism behind it. Brother, you can watch Muhammad Hijab all you want. I'm asking you to do yourself a favor and just open up a book at the same time and learn it for yourself. There's a difference between hearing it and reading.
Yes.
Big difference. And just so you know, scientifically speaking, the more you read, the faster you're going to learn something. I'm just saying that's how our minds work. So inshallah, hopefully I answered them. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression of what I'm saying over here. Inshallah.
Yeah. 10:30 now. I mean,
yeah, I think this is alhamdulillah good. We want to bring it to the close, and I think the way we're going to close it is just by answering the question: what suggestions do you, Dr. Dremali, and you, Brother Muhammad, have that we can do as a nation to prevent ourselves from falling victim to the social media, not just Muslims, but there's other, like you say, non-Muslim social media influencers too. Just some suggestions, that
just we talk to each other. Just talk to each other. For me, it's I know just for like when I'm going to court or when I'm going into the jails or something, if I'm not looking at somebody face to face, I'm not going to be really able to see the genuinity in that person's eyes, right? I like to read people. I'm a people reader, right? And it's funny because a lot of times my family will say, dude, how did you know about that? How did you get that vibe? Where do you get those vibes from? I like to get vibes off people, but I can't get that so much through the internet. I can get that better when I'm talking to somebody face to face, right? To see how many times they blink, or if they're looking at me face to face with my eyes. Are we making eye contact? Are you talking to me or at? Or are you looking around behind me? Are you paying attention to what I'm saying? I have a question for you guys, brother. Like I need the answers. I'm having a question that I saw online, and I just want to make sure I'm following it correctly. You see these guys who tell you to pray, but you can only put your head down, but don't put your nose down. Don't let your nose touch the floor. Then you got another guy who will say, put your nose on the floor, but don't touch your head on the floor. Whoa, I'm confused. I'm a revert. How am I supposed to pray? Go to somewhere, talk to somebody, figure out the way to do it. Please don't do Sheikh Google. He's like I said, whoever pays the most will be on top. And then you're gonna click that link and don't, please, I've heard this so many times. Don't do Wikipedia. Please, Wikipedia is like the worst, one of the worst sources ever, because you can put in anything you want to put in and make it seem like it's like the truest thing. If you look at Wikipedia and look up the country that's fighting my peoples, they're like the godsend of the world right now, how they put themselves in Wikipedia. So please do your research, talk to somebody face to face, talk to people you trust, talk to your family, talk to each other. Every time you have a sit down with your family, you have to bring up the deen, at least one thing, so your sit down can be blessed, inshallah.
And Dr. Dremali, go ahead.
So, in the end, inshallah, before we leave it, brothers and sisters, our life, believe it or not, is very, very short. Between, as Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, ما بين غمضة عين وانتباهتها يغير الله من حال إلى حال. The Imam, the great Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah, may Allah have mercy, he says, between the blink of the eye, Allah changes the situation to another situation. You never know. And the best way, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, اتقوا الله ما استطعتم. Fear Allah as much as you can, Allah says that. Plus, fear Allah, يعلمك Allah. Fear Allah, Allah will teach you. If you really have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, afraid only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala watching me, Allah will teach you more and more and more. The key is, I really fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know Allah take my life through the blink of the eye. The blink of the eye. The one He give me the soul can take it. We're not against anybody. We're not like embargo to anybody. Everybody, alhamdulillah, Muslimin. Yes, absolutely. They make shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. He's my brother and he's my sister. With no question with that. We're never even against anybody. But also very important, I listen, no problem. But also I want to confirm what I'm listening. Perfect. Good. I read. To listen to another person. What? Yeah. But any kind of argument, two shiuch, for example, argue about an issue, my advice, be away from it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that in the Quran. If the jidal argument, say salam, say peace and sleep. Because there is no way, Jose. Impossible. Impossible. Any argument, there is solution. Any husband and wife, argument, there is solution. Brother and sister, family, argument, my way or the highway, there is no way, Jose. Impossible. The best way, the true knowledge, في books from real scholars الله عز وجل. واسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون. Allah said that ask the people for knowledge if you know. May Allah increase our knowledge, all of us, brothers.
Yeah.
أسأل الله العظيم رب العالمين أن يهدينا فيمن هديت، اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت، وعافنا فيمن عافيت، وتولنا فيمن توليت، بارك لنا فيما أعطيت، وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت، وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت، وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا فارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا فارزقنا اتباعه. اللهم أنت الناصر، انصر المستضعفين في كل مكان، وانصر أخواننا في غزة يا رب، وثبتهم وردهم إلى بيوتهم ردا جميلا يا أرحم الراحمين. أنت الرحمن ارحمهم برحمتك، أنت القوي خويهم يا رب، أنت الناصر انصرهم يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وعلى محمد جزاك الله تعالى خيرا. سيستر ليلى جزاك الله خيرا. Sunnah followers, Facebook, all social media, جزاكم الله خيرا. والسلام عليكم.